My friends were getting killed out there by the. Nobody gave a. You know, now Israel gets involved, and all of a sudden it's like at the snap of a finger, we're bombing them.
Contextualize that with October 7th. This is where all this started and where Israel was like, right, we're done.
Israel's bombing Syria. Israel's bombing Iran.
The new leader of Syria, Jalani, he's no longer wearing his jihadi garb. He wears a suit.
What would you think if U.S. got involved in that?
Nobody else could have done it but us. And President Trump had said for so many years, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon.
Iran just got bombed. A lot of controversy over Israel right now and what's going on over there. So I wanted to unpack a couple of things that are going on and so let's start with, I woke up this morning, pulled up X. First thing I saw, Israel bombed Syria. So Israel's bombing Syria. Israel's bombing Iran. Israel is killing lots of people in Gaza. What is going on over there? Let's start with Syria, the latest.
Okay. I would just contextualize all the things that you've like that list that you just ran down. Contextualize that with October 7th, which is really was this is where all this started and where Israel was like, right, we're done. We're done with kind of the way we were doing things before, kicking the can down the road, kind of like trying to deal with situations rather than just completely, turn Gaza into a parking lot. But it changed their perspective. And by the way, if you look at internal polling, Israeli internal polling, they're very pro what's going on now because they suffered tremendously. It was horrific. October 7th was terrible. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of context for this. Mm-hmm. So Syria, this is not a short answer, Shawn. Syria has been, there's so many players. Syria is not just about Syria. Over the past, since the quote unquote Arab Spring, which was, as we know, not a spring at all, there have been a lot of different forces in Syria fighting each other, plotting external attacks. Some of them, Iran had a very serious foothold in Syria through Hezbollah, and they had cut a deal with Assad, who was threatened. Assad wouldn't have survived the Arab Spring if it hadn't been for Russia and Iran. And so he became beholden to them. Where is he today? Moscow. So he became beholden to them. He became their puppet. Mm-hmm. So also, if you consider the geography, where Israel and Syria meet, there's only a small area, the Golan Heights, where they share a border. But Israel's been concerned about this for many years. First, there was Hezbollah kind of massing there, getting ready to do something. Who knows? There's ISIS. There's all these different forces in play that ultimately threaten the state of Israel. And again, after October 7th, this became we're going to have to do something eventually. I don't think that Israel ever thought they would have the opportunity to address these Iranian proxies one by one. Mm-hmm. I think their plan was always, how are we going to fight everyone at the same time? So it's worked out well for them, and they've been incredibly masterful at how they've kind of addressed each one of these Iranian proxies. But now there's a new manager in town, formerly a guest of ours at Camp Buka, the new leader of Syria, Jalani. He has turned a new leaf, as he is portraying to the world. He's no longer wearing his jihadi garb. He wears a suit. He's been welcomed into the international community. And our own government really, we want a new Abraham Accords with Syria joining the Abraham Accords. We've lifted a lot of sanctions. We want to do business there. And I hope for that. I hope that happens. However, you got Jelani in Damascus, and then you have kind of his lieutenants or loosely aligned groups that are still sort of running things outside of Damascus. And he needs to get better control over that. Now, there's a debate about was he responsible for what's happened over the past few days, which is horrific attacks against the Druze community. They're not just in Syria, they're in Israel as well. They're actually very active in the Israeli security services. They serve in the IDF. And they play an important role in Israel and Israeli national security. So they were attacked in a pretty horrific way. There's videos all over social media about murders of hundreds of people that were filmed, the humiliations that were forced on the Druze before they were murdered, including some of their religious leaders. It's bad. It's very bad. And
so these are basically, the Druze is basically Muslim Israelis.
No, they're not.
Is that correct?
They're Druze. So they live in Israel, they live in Syria. They're spread out. If you consider, Kurds who kind of live in a bunch of different countries, they're kind of their own tribal network. That's the Druze. They have their own tribal network. They're spread across Syria, Israel, and maybe more than that. I cannot say I'm a deep Syria expert, but what I do know is that they were attacked pretty badly, and there were attacks against Christians prior to that. Inside of churches, murders, rapes. And this was the second attack against the Druze under this kind of new Jelani government. And I don't want to, it is a Jelani government that's they've been acknowledged into, by our leadership. So anyway, all that to say, Israel acted in defense of the Druze.
Okay.
And that was what they did this morning. They'd been messaging for a while, cut this shit out. This is really bad. We don't like to see this. But it didn't stop. And they had a problem too, which was, I read a report that said over 1,000 Druze from Israel knocked down the fence between Israel and Syria and just went into Syria to fight with their Druze brothers. And Israel was like, whoa, we don't want our citizens to get killed in Syria. They don't want any bigger problems. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wants us to calm down, quiet down. We're going in a good direction. Please stop killing each other. And that was the point of this attack, the Israeli attack today.
Okay.
I really, I hope that's the end,
Do you think that, what would you think if U.S. got involved in that? Do you think it's our place?
No, definitely not.
Do you think it was our place with the Iran stuff?
I think specifically targeting for Dow, nobody else could have done it but us. And President Trump had said for so many years, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon, that he had his own credibility riding on that, and he had to. But yes, I do also think it was the right thing to do. I never thought that this would turn into American boots on the ground. It won't. It can't. We're not doing that.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, that's good to hear, because that was my worry is, and look, I'm not an Israel expert. I'm not an Iran. I'm not a Middle East expert. But, Trump ran his campaign, we're not going to get into any more forever wars And that seems to be kicking the hornet's nest in my book. And, you know, and the thing is, I'm not saying Israel was right or wrong in having, in doing what they did,
Yeah.
you know, with Iran. But you just mentioned it. I know we're going to dive in a lot more. I mean, Iran has used terrorist organizations as proxies, from what I know, throughout the entire 20 whatever year war.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
And we never did a damn thing about it. Nothing. My fucking friends were getting killed out there by this shit. Nobody gave a fuck. You know, now Israel gets involved and all of a sudden it's like at the snap of a finger, fuck it, we're bombing them. And it to me is like a slap in the face. That's like, so when it's Americans that are getting killed, we don't do shit. But when Israel's involved, then we're going to step in and do something. I don't understand that at all. And I'm not
Yeah.
getting into the conspiracy stuff about all the shit that you read online, but that's just how I feel, and that's how a very large percentage of the veteran population feels.
Yeah.
Is what's going on? Like, why weren't you there for us?
I mean, I could not agree more in the sense that,
And that goes through Trump's last administration and Obama administration and the Bush administration. That's all of them.
yeah.
And the Biden administration.
I mean, I was tracking, like, we saw Iranian money moving through, like, in early days of Iraq. We were just watching it, and there were a few things that happened where, just a deep sigh because of all of the terrible loss and missed opportunities. But you know, I was there during the Bush administration, and yeah, I mean, there was a policy decision, even though we knew what was happening, what they were building, who they were dealing with, we let them. And then they started killing us, and essentially we let them, with very few exceptions. And I agree with you. That is messed up, and I mean, we should all be incredibly angry about that.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.